Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? My name is Harlequin Murray, and I am your co-host this evening. And I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing our speaker, who is our team leader, Miss Ellen Winn. And anyways, just a real quick synopsis about Ellen. She grew up on a farm just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. She spent 25 years in the restaurant industry. The last few years she worked in upper management for Domino's Pizza, and she was a training director and senior operations director for the state of Georgia for them. In 1997, she left Domino's and started her own restaurant, and she's been a business owner ever since. She was introduced to network marketing about 20 years ago, and over the years, she's built massive teams, and she's helped tens of thousands of people along the way. When I met her back in 2005, she was a national training director for a network marketing company, and she was a partner in a huge training center here in Atlanta. And Ellen absolutely loves to train people and help people, but she is an area director in DAC, and she's also a one-star executive in our residual pay plan with longevity. And she's helped our team to be one of the fastest growing and largest producing teams in DAC. But anyways, if you're new here tonight, I hope you enjoy what we have to say. And without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn.
Thank you, Harlequin. I always appreciate that warm introduction, and so glad to have all of you guys joining us tonight, whether you're here on our live Zoom or whether you're watching on the replay. We really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to get caught up on what's going on in Team Winn. We've got some exciting things happening with the company, and I want to get started, go right straight into our slideshow. I do this call every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's our way of connecting as a team. I reiterate the announcements that the company has made and give you an opportunity for Q&A at the end of the presentation that I'll cover tonight. So tonight we're going to just go through a few bullet points, some exciting things coming, and I want you to have time to talk about that with your team. So let me get SlideShare started and I'll get our screen up. Harlequin, can you see my slides okay? Good, excellent, thank you. Okay, we're ready to go then. All right, so you can see the super agent here pulling their shirt back, exposing that DAC independent agent logo. And that's what you're doing when you're talking about DAC, right? Today, we're going through the top recruiters for the week of 3/24 through 3/30. And this is our top recruiter leaderboard that I cover every week. Recruiting is really the lifeblood of our business. Any sport out there, and in careers, in corporate careers, there's always a headhunter out looking for sharp quality individuals that can help take their team or help take their company to the next level, right? And that's what our recruiting is all about. So top recruiters for this week, we have Katina Willis with 4 recruits. She's in first place yet again. She's been in first place for many weeks running. In second place, her enroller, Eric Johnson, with 3 recruits, tied with Chris Bartalis with 3 recruits each, both of them tied for second place. In third place, we have a 3-way tie with David Bryant, Pam Warnock, and Kenneth Williams, each having 2 new agent recruits for the week. So congratulations to everyone who made it on the left side of the leaderboard. On the right side of the leaderboard, I did not paste that one up there. Uh-oh, I didn't post those. Let me see what I did with that. I'm going to stop share for just a second and fix that if I can. Bear with me. Harlequin, you want to talk for a second on anything that you would like to share with the team? I know you always have something you want to wrap up with or cover that we've missed. Well, I'll pull those recruiters.
Oh, okay. So just off the top of my head.
Yeah, just off the top of your head. You're so good at that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to share with you guys, this is something that's really exciting. If you guys have not been marketing the lines of credit, I would highly recommend it, because I just got my 3rd commission on one line of credit, and they haven't even had it for a month yet. So anyways, yeah, so that was awesome. And from what I understand from talking with Wade, that's actually pretty common that they go and they get their first draw, and then a week or two later they get another one. And I know that Matt has one that what was it? I think he said they've already had 6 or 7 draws in their first month and a half or so. So that's good residual income, people. And it also amped me up on the second draw that I had. So that's always a good thing.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right.
All right. So if I can get back to screen share here, I have that on the slide now. There we go. Screen share. Back to where we left off. All right. Thanks for filling in there, Harlequin. And that was a great share. I heard you say that on the leadership Zoom today, and that's great information. Something to always look forward to when you're building your business. So went through the recruiters on the left side of the leaderboard, and on the right side of the leaderboard, we have, with one new recruit each, we had Paul Art, Gina Bordeaux, Michael Cheatham, Eugene Clapp, Dr. Valerie Fletcher, Twyla Gray, Cheryl Henderson, Tori Jackson, Monsanto Jean Charles, Barker Michael, Kelvin Miles, Janelle Moore, Caroline Simmons, Christy Smith, and Ellen Winn, each with one new agent recruit for that week. So congratulations to everyone who made it to the leaderboard. If your name is not on the leaderboard yet, but you're having active conversations or passive conversations, meaning you're making posts on Facebook or sending out messages or emails, which are passive. Active is having an actual conversation or engaging someone in a chat with either a text or a Facebook Messenger, right? Preferably a phone conversation, having an active conversation, inviting them to take a look at our opportunity. But if you're doing that and your name's not on the leaderboard yet, it's just a matter of time before it will be, because persistence will pay off for you. Okay. All right. So big announcement tomorrow night. It's First Tuesday. So tomorrow night we will have our agent opportunity business overview at 8 p.m. If you've been paying attention over the past month, 2 weeks ago, we had a business op presentation where David added in the new lines of credit and changed the way he is presenting our funding. 2 weeks before that, he had tweaked the presentation a little bit. Well, tomorrow night, our new presentation is going to have a couple of additional slides. So David's really excited about this, and I am too. So you need to be promoting within your team, and also promoting to guests. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have recruited a team, you need to reach out to every single person that is a part of your team and tell them, hey, we've got a business opportunity presentation tomorrow night. It's going to be like you've never seen before. We've got some new product announcements coming again. We just launched the line of credit in March or February, actually in February. And now we've got another new onslaught of products coming our way. So you don't want to miss this new agent overview tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Great opportunity for you to invite guests to come see. How do you do that invitation? Well, you just ask people, engage them in a conversation and say, hey, I'm really excited about something that I'm working on. Do you keep your options open for making money outside of what you're currently doing? And if they say, well, yeah, I'm always open to something, say, great, I've got something I want to show you. It won't take you but a few minutes to figure out if it's a good fit, and it may or may not be a good fit for you. Okay. Kind of you doing the takeaway where it may or may not be a fit, like you're not trying to hard sell them, but you want to show them something. And in that, say, we've got a live presentation with our company founder and CEO tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Can you join us on that live presentation? If they say yes, say great. I'm going to send you a link to the Zoom that will be hosting this live. And then tomorrow or later in the day, depending on what timeline you talk to them, before it starts, you want to send them a reminder text. Say, hey, are you still going to make it on to our Zoom tonight? It's going to be an awesome opportunity. and just send out that gentle reminder to them, hoping and encouraging them to get on the Zoom tomorrow night. Okay. And then if they can't get on live, guess what? We have a recording, right? It's the presentation on your partner page that's already there. It's already updated with the presentation that was done 2 weeks ago. David has not updated the 8-minute short video, but that second longer video tells the whole story, and it is updated with the presentation that was just recently done. All right. The second part of tomorrow night is exciting. We got big announcement tomorrow, April the 5th. I want to know, are you ready? What do I mean by are you ready? Well, are you engaged in your business? Obviously, you're here tonight or you're watching this on the replay, so you're somewhat engaged, right? But I don't know what level of engagement you have when we don't have a Zoom going where you're called to a meeting to sit and participate. And while you're participating, are you taking notes, or are you just sitting here watching the Zoom and listening without taking notes? Because every time I listen to a Zoom, not only is there something said that I need to take notes on from the Zooms that I participate in with corporate or any other training that I do, but I also, I have thoughts, it's a thought-provoking process. So something is said and I'll make a note to myself on something that I need to do or someone that I need to follow up with or reach out to just because of the conversation. So that's what I mean. Are you ready? Are you actively engaged in your business? Are you taking an active role in getting ready to grow and expand your business by building a team, but not only just recruiting, plugging that team in and helping them go through the training process, reiterating that they need to go through videos 1, 2, 3, those big green numbers at the top of the Agent Resource Center, right? David has said, and I'm hoping it's coming really soon, that he's going to have 2 different compensation plans, one for those of us who get trained and one for those of us who do not go through, or those of y'all, not us, because I'm not in that, not getting trained, but one compensation plan for people that just choose to get started and not go through the training. They're going to be on a lower compensation than those of us that go through all of the required training. So want to make sure that you're on that. Now, that hasn't been announced yet, but he's mentioned it more than one time, so I'm sure it is actively in process. But tomorrow night is going to be a huge announcement, and I feel like all the things that we have laid out last year in May when we launched Bank Breezy, and in February when we just launched the line of credit. Harlequin just gave her testimony that she's already had 3rd renewal with that. This product is amazing and people want it and are excited to hear about it. But wait till we announce tomorrow what is coming. Now, I don't know personally. I just have been listening very carefully into what David has been saying. And I have a really strong hunch that this is going to be that next product launch that is going to take David Allen Capital into some massive, massive growth. So are you ready for that? Are you getting yourself ready and positioned to be ahead of that growth? What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, if you're sitting back and you're not building a team and everybody else around you is, you're missing the opportunity to get those people in your organization, right? David talks about painting your city blue and making everyone in that city aware of DAC. If you did that, just recruiting agents, and you started building an agent team in your local community and expanding into your metro area, wherever you are, then any business owners that come on board with DAC funding or any other products that we market will most likely be a part of your organization. So it'll be a part of your profit portfolio, revenue share portfolio here with your DAC agency. So I want you to think bigger and think more than just you and 1 or 2 conversations or 3 or 4 or 5 conversations that you can have each day, but think of the bigger picture of what can happen if you're building an agent team to get ahead of this. Okay. The good thing is, if you can't be there live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern, there will be recordings available for both. Our recordings are over on the DAC Agent YouTube channel. If you've not already signed up for announcements there or for alerts, go to dacyoutube.com and sign up for the alerts. Hit the little bell and it'll let you know when they're going live. Both of these are going to be hosted at daczoom.com, the 8 p.m. and the 9 p.m. daczoom.com is where the live Zooms will be held. Okay, so March ended up with DAC having a record month, best month ever in the history of our company, which now we'll be 7-year-old company in August, right? So we just set a new record month for DAC. How did yours go? I talked about this last week. Were you on track to have a record month? And were you getting yourself positioned to earn a residual check at the end of the month? So how many of you are getting a check on the 15th, right? Because you had at least 50 QV points and you had business going on in the organization below you. I know there were quite a few people in the organization that should be getting a check over $100. And that's amazing to see that kind of residual activity in an organization, in a network marketing pay structure, which is what we are. We're not really a network marketing company, but our compensation plan pays like a network marketing company. So it's a huge way to earn residual income when you build a team of agents. All right, so that's the last of my slides that I want to cover. I'm going to close that down and get back here just to talk for a minute and talk about getting ahead of it a little bit further. And I want you to think back to a time and a place in your life where something came along that you thought was a great opportunity, whether it was work related or whether it was an opportunity to buy a house or a car, something that was a great price, and how you responded when that opportunity came along. Did you just sit back and watch it go by? And did you miss buying that house that you should have bought, or buying that car that you should have bought, or accepting that job offer that you should have accepted? Or did you jump at the opportunity and did you go with all out massive action to make it happen, right? So are you that action taker that's going to go after this opportunity the same way that you did whatever it is that came to mind when I asked that question? My thought process is this: anytime I'm not happy with my current situation, I sit back and I look at what's going on and I'm going, okay, I'm going to change this. And I make my mind up to it. And then I lay out a plan. What is necessary? What steps need to be taken to make a change? And I did that with DAC back when COVID hit. I made that change and started moving towards being a really big team leader and building a huge organization. And we are accomplishing that, right? As Harlequin introduced me, we're one of the fastest growing teams and largest teams inside of DAC. And we're also one of the largest producing teams. But I don't want to be one of, I want to be the biggest team inside of DAC. And I want to be the biggest producing team in DAC on a consistent basis, right? We have several agents in the team that will get several fundings and then nothing. And then a few fundings and then nothing. So if you go out and you're able to get a funding or a couple of fundings, that shows that you have a success path already created. And if you're not getting fundings, go back and look what it was that caused you to get that activity. Or maybe it's not even a funding, maybe it's just applications started and you're starting to see that reach out method or your marketing or whatever it is that you're doing to create that flow of traffic. You're starting to see it happen. You just need to start doing more of it, right? To continue having that success. But as I said earlier tonight, guys, I want to make this short tonight because I really want you to reach out to your teams. I want you to reach out and start promoting tomorrow night and talk up what a big opportunity we have here and just say, hey, I don't know what's coming, but Ellen is saying that something really big is happening tomorrow night. David Rutz is telling us there's going to be some huge announcements. And if I were you, I would plug in on that Zoom. I would dial in and listen to hear for yourself, because when they make those announcements tomorrow night, they're also going to be doing Q&A and give you an opportunity to get all your questions answered. So I want you to take that time this evening, instead of us going longer like we normally do, take an extra 30 minutes out of this evening and send a text message to someone that you've recruited, or send a text message to someone that you would love to see this business opportunity, and just say, hey, I may not have mentioned this before, or I'm sorry I haven't said something sooner, but I'm a part of something pretty exciting. And I want to invite you to take a look at what we're doing if you keep your options open, right? So just have those conversations, but it starts with you taking that first step, and then you take a second step and a third step. Before you know it, you're out there and you've already gone a mile and don't even realize it, just because of baby steps along the way. So let me open up and see if there's something in the chat that anyone has questions or comments about anything. Or if you have a question, you can also raise your hand under the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, we don't have anything in the chat, Ellen.
James says, just keep flipping that money. You got it. Nothing in the chat. Anybody with questions? Oh, Cindy. All right. Hey, Cindy, how are you doing tonight? We'll get you to unmute.
Much better, thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, really quickly, thanks for everything you do. Could you please explain again what the customer thing is? I know that Harlequin this morning confirmed what I was thinking, that since they're doing the online application, if they qualify for that, Wade or Brad offer it to them. But I don't remember exactly what it is. I think it's a closing cost or something, or waived, or I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember.
When you
That's all.
started your question there at the very beginning, your mic cut out. Can you restate what it is you want me to clarify?
Yeah, the premier customer plan that's being carried over.
Yeah. So it is the preferred customer program that has been marketed. We had it for the last quarter of last year, and then they announced it would continue on in the first quarter. And now David, just at Harlequin's request this morning, asked, was it going to continue on? They said it will continue on through the end of April. So it is a larger program. There are flyers in the DAC agent group. If you'll just do a search for preferred customer program, or just the word preferred, it should come up. There's a flyer there. It is for larger fundings for businesses that have been in business longer, but you don't have to worry about promoting it, Cindy. If you
No, I just wanted to know what it was. I couldn't remember.
You can find the details on it, so you can promote it if you want to. But what the preferred program does is every funding that we do has some sort of cost involved, or 99% of the time they do. There's a cost involved, whether it is a closing fee or an origination fee, just like any type of loan, right?
Right.
So all of our fundings have some type of cost involved, but this preferred program eliminates that. In other words, with our traditional funding, if the business owner got $10,000 and they had to pay closing points, they may only get $9,500 if it was $500 in closing fees. With this preferred program, they'll get 100% of whatever they borrow. So it eliminates that. It gives them a better credit, or a better payback rate. Also, they're going to get preferred payback rates because they have better credit to qualify for that. So when I say you don't have to worry about it, our team automatically is going through every application that comes in. And if they find an application that came through that does qualify for that, they're going to get them qualified for that program automatically. So you don't have to worry about.
Okay, I just was wondering I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but thank you.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome. Yeah, good question. Thank you. All right, anybody else? I see Mark has his hand up. Hey, Mark, how are you doing tonight? Ask you to unmute. There we go.
Hi there, Ellen.
Hello.
Hi, Harlequin. Hi, everybody.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I was unable to make it on to this morning's call. I've been out for a few days. My wife and I are celebrating 21 years of marriage.
Oh my, congratulations. That's a major feat.
Pardon?
That's a major feat, 21 years.
Oh man, folks don't stay together for 21 weeks, more or less 21 years.
I know.
But thank you. I had a question for you, and it's something I may have missed, because like I said, I had been so busy towards the end of the month and coming into the new month, because we had taken, we had a little, took a little trip, and I made it to some of the morning meetings, but I had to kind of like, not be interactive like this. Now, when it comes to longevity, and David had someone on about a week and a half ago. It was a gentleman that was introducing us to the health insurance.
Right, the S&I plans,
The
Scott
S&I plans and everything like
Pardue.
that. And while the gentleman was talking, he was telling us about for the S&I, that there was an opportunity for us, if we spent $50, we would be able to it wasn't going to be like an official like license, but it would be kind of like a connection in which indigenous tribes could see that we're a part of that listing. And of course, we had to be very wise in how we state things. Well, I know he was saying that, but I know we had till March 31st, but I kind of like watched, and I was kind of listening, and I don't know if I missed it or something, but I heard no further mention of it. And I was just wondering if David just kind of maybe thought about it. And you know how some folks can be kind of quirky in our group, that maybe he thought, oh, this probably wouldn't be a good idea because people would say something than what they should say. Or did he go ahead and allow our agents with David on Capital to spend the $50 to get that?
Okay, great questions. All right, and I understand the silence on it too. I'll explain that. So what my understanding is that it was actually free to get your license through the end of March instead of having to pay to be able to get qualified. That's what it was. So the free period has expired, but you can still do that by paying to get your license. Now, that license, a couple of things are going to come with it. One, if you get the license, you're going to have to pay for errors and omissions insurance, which is E&O insurance that's required for insurance agents, right? And I understand that that's going to run about $30 a month. So just getting that licensing, you're going to incur an ongoing $30 a month E&O policy expense, right? So to market that plan, Mark, it is not required whatsoever for you to have insurance license, and it's specifically for those S&I plans. It doesn't license you for other health insurance programs. So it's specifically for that particular product. You don't have to have the license. It's just they were offering that really as a way for you to have more credibility. If you wanted to present yourself as a licensed agent representing that, to me, I'm not going to get the license. I'm going to get paid on it without having to have the license. If they said, well, if you don't have the license, you can't get paid on it, then I would go get the license, right? But I don't need to be licensed. I don't want to be I don't want to be the expert on that. I want to do what I do with all of our services, which is give enough information to pique the client's interest, and then be able to answer a few basic questions. And then when they start really diving in deep on any of our services, insurance, funding, and everything, anytime they're asking deep questions, I say, that's a great question. I don't want to give you the wrong information, or your best bet is to go through, fill out the form, and let's get you in touch with our experts, because they're the ones that are on the front line of this particular product, and they'll answer all of your questions accurately. So I always defer them to our expert team, no matter what it is I'm talking about. For David not to continue mentioning that, the only reason there is because funding is his top priority. And he's always kind of ambivalent about whether to promote other products that are outside of the funding arena, even though we offer them, because he doesn't want our agent base to get off track of what the main focus is. So he tries to keep the main thing, which is funding and all of the peripherals around funding. But also, you notice he doesn't talk about customer financing a lot. He doesn't talk about payment processing a lot, even though those are still in that finance arena. Funding is our flagship product, and he wants to keep that way. So for those agents that are interested in that S&I plan or having that insurance on your own, I have the Freedom Plan for my healthcare, And in fact, I was on a Zoom today. I have, this is a great story. I had a client in play last year that's about a 700 person group, and they were very interested in our healthcare product, but time constraints, we got down to the wire with them. And according to the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, a company has to give at least a 60-day notice to employees if they're changing their benefits and coverage or changing the carrier. And we were getting too close to that 60-day window to where they didn't feel like internally they had enough time to make a decision. It wasn't any fault of ours. It was them and their broker getting them off to a late start. And they had some new people in the company that really didn't understand the processes. But now here we are 12 months later, or a year later, as their enrollment's coming up in July. And we're in the mix on that, being able to do a bid on what DAC Healthcare has to offer. So that would be my personal client. I'm super excited to be on that today, leading that connection with the company. But that's all I did, right? I had the conversation with the CEO of the company, who's a client of mine, told him we had a great healthcare product. I was excited about it. And the minute I said healthcare, they were in the renewal process. And he said, tell me more about that, Ellen. He said, tell me more about your healthcare. And I just hit the high points of it, you know, that it covers all the MEC, the medically required coverage every year on your annual visits and so on, and hit the basics of what it covers. And I said, you know, it's just like your big plans with Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna, all of those, it works the same way, but we're a lot less expensive. And he put us in front of his HR director last year. So when it came back around this year, I'm back in the mix with that because of my relationship with the CEO of the company. But again, I just knew the bullet points and I put them in touch with our experts. So today on that Zoom, I was the one that got the conversation started, revisiting it with the healthcare or the human resource director. And then she brought her broker into the conversation, wanting to do a Zoom with me because she thought I was the expert the way I was presenting myself, right? But I said, well, I'm going to get Lou Emanuelson online with us. He's actually our expert. So I got him on. I did the introductions and introduced Lou, and I shut up and I sat back and took notes. So that's how you do this business in general, no matter what it is that we're marketing, pique their interest, pass it on to the experts and let them handle it from there. So great question, Mark. Hope that answered everything you needed to know about that.
And we're able to do, so basically everything you did, I can do without necessarily having to get that $30 a month errors and omissions deal.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes.
so as long as I can do it without it, and that's what I heard him say. But it was like he mentioned it, and then like, I mean, I was like, I was looking on the website for David Allen Capital, and I was trying to find it, and then I couldn't make any contacts with anybody. I was like, okay. I said there's probably a reason why he's not mentioning it anymore. So you gave me that clarity. So thank you so much. But now that I know that I can still share the information, share the bullet points of it, and still reap the benefits of it, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and just so you know, if you didn't pick this up in that training, that product was created for DAC, right? That healthcare product was created specifically for us. And David said, it's ours to hold on to, right? So if our agents go out and market it and start bringing in business, then that product will remain with DAC. But if we don't go out and do a good job of marketing it, then Scott, who presented the other night, he's a owner in the company that created that, then Scott has every right in the world to go to other companies and help them brand it under their umbrella or whatever and start marketing that same product to others. But it wouldn't be called DAC Healthcare if he took it somewhere else. Another thing on that too, I think David probably didn't mention it again because he didn't want agents hearing license and then thinking that they had to have a license to market that
Yeah.
product. So
And
it
believe
kinda
me,
came out.
the short time I've been with the company, I know we got some yahoos. Every business got some yahoos. They hear a little bit of information, and becomes dangerous. But what were you about to say?
Oh yeah, no, just that I don't know that he knew Scott was going to say that when he announced it, or maybe David did, but
Yeah.
typically that type of announcement is something that doesn't get made unless it's necessary. So that's probably why he didn't push on with that, letting everybody know that
No,
that
I
license opportunity
can,
was available.
no, I can respect that, because I remember, first coming on and just, watching the training videos, and then going on to the, I think it's the DAC YouTube, and watching some of the past ones. And I was listening to some of the questions being asked, and I was thinking, wow, some of the questions being asked, had they just gone through the 3 videos and looked at the website, they would have a lot that answered. And then the thing about, they're calling and saying, hey, it's my loan, why haven't I received my commission check, on that? I love you, honey. Bye-bye. And it's kind of like, if we listen to the training, now things work, they wouldn't be bothering David and the rest of you and maybe Harlequin or whoever else. And I'm just like, wow, if he's dealing with that much on that issue, my God, if this guy's mentioning the word license, that's going to probably be another, like, not to be negative, but like another thorn in the flesh, to deal with.
Preach,
what I mean?
man, preach, 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 preach,
So
because
I'm feeling
everything
it.
you're saying is 100% true. And
Yeah.
it's the calls and text messages that I receive on a daily basis of
Yeah.
questions that I look at it and I'm going, if you've gone through training, you would know the answer to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing that, you didn't do, that you go through the training and you need a little more clarity, or maybe there's an aspect of it that you're like, you want a little more clarity on it or something like that. Then you can just tell when someone just outright, they did not watch the videos,
Exactly.
and a lot of that information is there,
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that some people come in, they're so excited that they want to start sharing their
They just
links
want to
with
jump
us.
in, and that's cool, but
They're putting the cart before the horse, right? Because those
yeah.
trainings are required before you start talking to
Mhm.
people and giving them the wrong impression of what our funding is, because there's a limited audience, right? And you need to know
Right.
what that audience is, so that you don't think that we do real estate loans, and you don't think that we do $100,000 loans to brand new businesses that are just getting started. So got to know the parameters on that. But thank you, Mark. I appreciate your comments
Thank
and
you
your
so much.
questions.
Thank you.
Yep. And also telling, I love you, honey, to your wife as she's headed out the door. That was sweet. That's
Well,
why
21
you've been
years.
married 21 years.
It's a blessing. Good times and bad times. We're there for each other. And you know what? People say, what's the secret to marriage? I always tell people, money is good, other things are good, but love is fine, but it doesn't take care of the bills. And believe it or not, love doesn't even cause people to stay married. The trick to a long marriage is communication.
Amen.
We keep Christ as the center of our marriage, but we also understand the importance of communication.
I love it. I agree. Words of wisdom. Thanks for sharing that.
No problem. And thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to go to Randy. I see your hand up, Randy, and asking you to unmute. How are you doing tonight? Oh, I think I asked you to unmute and then I muted you right back. You got to unmute yourself. There you go. Sorry about that.
That's fine. I'm doing good. I'll try to talk fast and not be windy with all this, but I hesitated to get on because you want to make it short tonight, but I did want to kind of bring my experience out, maybe to help some new people as I am. But I kind of wanted to get over in the area of really the statistics of the numbers of this, because my background is not you know, when you hear it's all about the numbers, which there's a variable of that in this equation of marketing, you know, I guess you'd call it this business. But, I actually got an application today and you know, I'll tell you, Ellen, it got declined, but let me say something. I was more excited about the growth I had in that process because I handled everything polished and then actually getting a funding. You know, I was like, you know, you're growing in this process personally. But what I wanted to kind of center on and ask you, whoops, there went my mouse to my other computer. Was what are the numbers like? Because I actually told my wife, I said, you know, this really does work. If I ever get into really pushing the numbers, like I think, you know, I've heard David say and yourself and some of the others, because I think I'm at probably 200 connections through all the emails and the text and all. I do a lot of pounding the pavement. I love that part of it too, by the way. Talking to business owners. Out of that, I think I maybe have had about 7 or 8, you know, connections, 4. And then out of that, I think I've had 5 communications where rapport. And then out of that, two applications. So I thought in there, I heard Dave this morning. I was listening by phone. I couldn't be in there by computer, but I thought I heard him say out of 60% of what you're doing, people like what you're doing. Is that kind of a number to kind of hold to? I don't know that that's all that group. Then you have to start the breakdown of, okay, out of 60% that likes, then you're going to probably go to different percentages of how many applications you actually get and then how many. Can you do just kind of just maybe, maybe for others that are listening that need help?
Yeah, and I'm not sure on the 60%. I didn't catch what he was saying on that you're referencing, but conversations, right? What you're doing conversation wise, we have determined that about 1 out of every 30 business owner conversations is going to generate someone applying. Okay. So when you say you've got about 200 connections, if those are emails going out, you know, how many of them are actually getting opened by that business owner? And is that business owner seeing and reading your message? So that's where you've got to know what your percentages are of the type of communication that you're sending out, and whether it's an actual engaged conversation or that face-to-face where you're out hitting the pavement. And that is by far the best way to engage with a business owner. But 1 out of 30 face-to-face or phone conversations with the business owner themselves is going to turn into an application. And then we say that you really need to have 2 applications to get a funded deal. So 60 business owner conversations is going to turn into a funding. All in all, when someone does apply, 80% of the people who apply that actually meet our minimum qualifications are going to get an offer. And out of those 80%, another 80% of them are going to accept the offer. So those are the numbers. I don't, you know, you'd have to take 80 out of 100 are going to get an offer, and 80% of those, so 64 out of 100 that get an offer would actually accept the offer.
Well,
You're doing the percentages.
That's really good, because that helps me a lot, because I kind of come into this as more of a, I mean, and by the way, let me just ask this and I'll quit because I know for time's sake, but another part of that is, you know, I find that there's a class of people that want this, and I think David hit this a little bit. If you're just trying to get the rescue thing to the people, that's I'm wanting in there on some of the big, you know, so your approach to that, there's not, you really shouldn't prejudge anybody, right? I mean,
exactly.
I mean, because you just don't know if they know somebody. I'm started getting into the habit of asking them if they know people, and boy, they're real, you know, it's easy for them to take your material and say, oh, absolutely, I'll make sure. And I've got them taking iPhone shots and shooting them over to, so, you know, there's different methods of getting it done, but yeah, so I'm excited about the numbers part of it, because I haven't really bought into that, not being a marketer, network marketer. You know, I'm more of the person that thinks, well, if you can just get the right one out of the 10, then that saves you from 9, you know, going through 9 others. Well, that's not necessarily true, because it really does. There's those gems out there that want this, and you've got to go through a number of people to find the people that need it and that really can use it. So
Absolutely. And in that process, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. In that process of going through 10 to find that one gem that you're looking for, 9 of those could potentially be a carrier for you, especially if you're presenting it that way. And I love how you said that, where you're asking them, do they know someone? You can imagine if you're presenting something and you're being salesy as if they need what you have, that turns a lot of people off. And especially even if it's the business owner that really needs what you have, they don't want to admit it, especially when it comes to funding. They don't want to admit that they need money or that they are struggling. So if you always present it to them in terms of, hey, if you or anyone you know could use this, please share my information, and give it to them in that sharing with other people, instead of always pointing it towards, if you ever need this, right? It opens that door for them to accept your information and be willing to take a picture of it, because they feel like they're going to be doing you a favor and sharing your information. But when you're gone, they may be the first one filling out the application online because they were struggling the day that you walked in the door. But again, back to those numbers, Randy, the 1 out of 30 conversations, you got to think about that as a timing, right? 80% of those 30 business owners are probably going to need money sometime this year. That's the statistics. But narrowing it down to 30 people, and 80% of those 30 people, how many conversations are going to happen on the very day that they're looking for funding, right? So that fits into the equation too, as far as the timing of when you're having that conversation with them. But the main thing is getting your name out there, getting the word out, and letting everybody that you know that you're their funding guy. And if they run into a situation, or have a friend or a business owner that they know run into a situation, and they hear them talking about not being able to get money from their bank, you'd love to be able to have an opportunity to help them out. So great approach there, right? Spot on with it.
Okay.
Anything else, Randy? And in your comment about time, yes, I did say that about time tonight, but I never want to cut it short when you guys have things to say or questions. I just didn't want to have a long presentation tonight and then go into Q&A, because I always want to make sure we're getting your questions answered. You guys like my green shirt tonight? I'm wearing this in honor of the Masters, which is being held this week in Augusta, the Masters Golf Championship. Practice rounds started today. My limousine business has been ramping up for that. I've got to be 2 hours away from home at 7 a.m. in the morning. I've got a 9-passenger van picking up a group at the St. Regis there at Lake Oconee, driving them up to Augusta, spending the day with them, bringing them back. Then I do it again Wednesday. I do it again Thursday, and Friday I get a little bit of a reprieve. I don't have to be there till the afternoon, but it's a really big week for us. So I thought I'd wear my green shirt for the green jacket, which is the prize that the winner of the Masters gets to walk away with. In addition to lots of money and a big trophy, they get the green jacket for being the winner of the Masters. So.
Good stuff.
All right. Did you have any other questions or comments there, Randy?
No, just, you know, I just am excited to go through these growth points, because, you know, about the time you trying to understand what's going on, you know, you get this push forward, and it's exciting. I've always believed that it's just a matter of time for anybody that'll work at it, you know, and I just need to amp up my numbers. And I've known that for probably a month, and I've got to get to it. I got to figure this out and get the numbers thing going. I'll be good.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that you recognize that growth point, right? Do you feel that that growth really helped your confidence in what you're doing?
Yes, because the system that's here, knowledge is power. And I've known from starting with David Allen Capital from day one, that my whole thrust in this and focus needed to be gather knowledge. So I've done a bunch of that. And that's why I was so excited to do such a polished job with this prospect, because they were declining. I actually, I kind of felt for them, because I know these people need money, or they're in spots. But then at the same turn, as I mature in this, I understand we don't want to be rescuing them necessarily, because they're going to need it again 6 months from now. But what I will say to that is yes, because of the belief in David Allen Capital went up, and when you've got that confidence in who you're doing this for, your confidence just follows right in pursuit, So I really look forward to some good days here, especially with stuff like tomorrow night. Who knows what I'll be involved in, It's like a playland sometimes.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And alluding to that confidence, if you did not hear today's leadership Zoom with David Allen Capital, the rest of you who are listening, I know you were on there by phone, Randy, go listen to it. It was really a powerful call talking about confidence, and your Matthew Duhame ended up talking about tonality and going through an exercise that I've trained on in the past a couple of times. You may or may not have heard me. My tonality was, I never said he stole money, instead of the line that Matt gave an example of today. But talking about tonality, your body language, and all of that, and how a business owner reads you when you're coming in, and your facial expression. David went through that as to what your brain and your heart are knowing what you're actually saying, and your versus what you're trying to say and what is you're trying to convey. So good stuff, guys. Randy, I'm going to lower your hand. One last chance, anybody with questions, or if there's anything else in the chat before we wrap up. Harlan, can you see anything there?
No, we don't have any questions in the chat tonight.
Okay, and we covered everything. Reminder again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. business opportunity, and 9 p.m. huge announcement. So go tell your team, spread the word, and promote to the business opportunity presentation tomorrow night. All right, guys, y'all have a blessed evening. We'll see you on the next one tomorrow night, 8 p.m. DACzoom.com. Take care.